Hi everybody, Army P here for Explorminate.net. Welcome back to our second video showing off Tyranny, new RPG that's coming out on November 10th from Obsidian. Now if you remember last time we set up our character and then we have an edict. Kairos, the evil overlord ruler, has granted upon me to cast an edict, and that edict is going to destroy the entire area if I was to cast it. The incentive being to get the two Archons to work together and quench this rebellion that's occurring. Now, to further motivate me, Kairos has sealed behind me the gate leading out of Vendron's Well, the area that the rebellion is now in. So without further ado, looks like we've got a soldier here. Kairos, I'm not going to read this out, I'll be reading all day, but what I'll do is I'll just let you guys read it, and then we'll just talk about the decisions I'm going to make. The disfavored warrior claps her breastplate, a tradition to salute to the legioned. Sorry, I don't have a proper welcome for the Queen Slayer. Oh, see, this is one of those things that if it shows up in green, remember I was talking about earlier, and then you can kind of right-click and it tells you all of the lore. Because I was able to defeat the Queen in one of the cities that I sacked, she identifies me as that part of my background. Perhaps if we weren't so short-handed, we'd make preparations, but no bother. We are honored to have you at all the same. Look forward to seeing what the Oathbreakers lose their cool in the sight of you. So I've gained favor by the disfavored because she's happy that she's recognized that I've come to crack the stalemate that's going on with the rebellion. Okay, I missed those days. She's going all reminiscent on me, but now she wants to know. But I know the Archons are expecting you. Don't let me wax nostalgically about the old days. Now I'm kind of curious about the kind of player character I should be kicking around with right now. Should I be a jerk? Should I be cold? Should I be, smooth? But he's a war mage. Chatelain's a war mage. He doesn't. He's seen battle and he's taken out the queen. I kind of picture him as like cold, so I'm gonna play him kind of like cold, and a little bit of a jerk. Not the kind of guy that you want to sit and have too many beers with, if you know what I mean. I'm in a hurry to deliver this message to the Archons. Well, you've traveled a long way. I won't keep you any further. I'm sure the Archons are waiting to hear from you. Her voice falls silent. Attention snaps eastward in alarm. Did you hear that? More runners, 3rd times this week. The Oathbinders are trying to keep and send messengers through the mountains to gather information from the outside of the valley. She points over to a collapsed path, which you have just arrived. But they're a bit late for it now. Come, let's show these Oathbreakers a good fight. Alright, now we're going to hit into combat for the very first time. Okay, so combat is pretty similar to what you would expect from Pillars of Eternity. You can see here in the bottom left-hand side is my action bar where I've got Chatelain and his different abilities. We've got Thrust, which is a frost base attack, Thrust, and that was given to us by the choices that we made as a special ability and are making our backstory. We've got Frozen Grasp and Charged Fists because we are our primary and secondary abilities are in Frost and Shock, and of course we got Warrior's Respite, which is the special ability that we got by sacking the Bastard City. So without further ado, we're going to hit 2. Now you can see here that everything's on a cooldown. It's going to play out a little bit differently than the per encounter. Right. Okay, so she's going to attack. I don't believe I actually can attack her. I'm just going to be...
Will do.
Using his ability. May have to adjust a little bit to...
On it.
Okay, I'm going to use my Shocking Grasp, and oh, there he goes. Awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little bit around with the sound. Sorry guys, I know this is a little bit of a deal breaker. I'm going to turn that down and just kind of get this a little bit more balanced so you guys can hear some of the cool effects that come from the magic.
I got it.
Okay, that sounds perfect to me. Oh, look. Avalanche has us blocked. Do you think you can fit through the rubble? Well, you can see on the other side we got a disfavored shield getting attacked by some Oathbearers. Stinky rebellion. Okay, so you can see here I've got two options to get through the boulders. I can squeeze through or I can move the boulder, but I need 30 athletics. So you can see here that depending on what you chose for your initial setup on your abilities, you could have actually used them in this kind of instant situation. Because I can't, I'm just going to try to sneak through. Oh, get to the other side and guess what? Lovely peoples here and okay, we're gonna use our frost mage. And boom.
Far worse.
And we're gonna use our shock, and there it goes, the shock. And so I think we'll just do a general attack now. You can see here that the way to identify, as I press the tab button, everybody's HP from the disfavored who we're trying to save, and of course all ourselves. Everything's kind of color coded, it being once you hit orange, and I'll explain to you a little bit how that works after the battle. But for the meantime, you can see here that our thrust ability is now off cooldown, so we're going to use that and knock him out of the dodge. Have a nice day. Just going to play around a little bit with, I think that for some reason we might be. Okay, we're going to get this guy with our frost attack from behind. Hopefully the disfavored will keep his tanking aggro nice and high. If you don't understand some of those terms, they're just from MMOs. The tank's typically going to be trying to attract the enemies while your damage doers or damage dealers take him down. So you can see here he's got that large shield. We're going hard. So not doing a ton of damage. Gonna have to wait for our cooldowns to pop, and in the meantime we're just gonna straight up attack them. Beginning of every game tends to be just a little bit on the slower time, so you'll have to bear with me as we use some of these brand new abilities. Shock, come on, take them out. There you go, freeze them. And we're going to use our shock attack against this pathetic Oathbinder. Get him out of here. Oh, and it moved him. That's one of the abilities that the shocks have. It pushes the target back up to 8 meters. Oh, and we're taking him down. And that is combat. So we can see what we can loot here. It looks like you've got some javelins. We'll just take that all. See what the poor disfavored soldier says. Don't bother with me. Go down the pass. Dracius. You're wounded. It's not trivial. I don't have time for this. That's my two options. I don't have time for this. Go on to Graven Ash. Go on. Graven Ash is with me. Alright. That's exactly what I'm going to do. It looks like we've got some yummies here. That guy's a mushroom. You can see different types of Oathbinders and people who didn't agree with Kairos' past being strung up. That's quite the punishment. Okay, looks like we've got a big, good old-fashioned fight going.
Try and catch me, worm.
A young Scarlet Fury. Scarlet Fury is an elite fighter for the Scarlet Chorus. Weaves around an Avendrian guard, avoiding the weapons with fluid grace. She nods in acknowledgement of you. The breathless enemy soldier, passes a glance to his countrymen. This one's crazy. Too much lead in the water. We should cut our losses and turn back.
Fate finder. Here at last. Care to join me in putting these cowards out of their misery?
Yeah, save some for me. Okay, so you can see here I've used my mage attack automatically. I've got my AI going, and I don't want to dig too deeply into this, but this game, one of the things that people really didn't like when it came to Pillars of Eternity was there was no enemy AI. Now what I meant by that is that there was no way for you to control, or you had to give each one of your characters that you were controlling each individual command. What they did as the game progressed, they introduced minimal AI. Basically, it lets you choose when to use certain abilities, but when they're not using the abilities, your companions will just naturally attack the enemy that's either attacking them or something along that nature. That being said, it's a feature that's in Tyranny right off the bat. So I do believe that we've got passive AI on right now, and we're just going to kick it off. So who do we got here? Looks like some type of Scarlet Chorus member, so we're going to now taking control of her. We're going to assist from behind with our shock attack. Oh, that's freeze attack. Oh, and he just got gibbed huge. That is an option, by the way, in this game. So if you're squeamish of cartoony blood,
You fancy red.
you might as well take be warned right now. I'm going to use my thrust ability. Oh, gibbed again. And our young attacker here, looks like she's got abilities that uses bows. Oh, this is a good opportunity. I can't wait to show this. It's going to be fun. Okay, in this game, your companions and you have, if you have the ability to have a reputation bar with them and how much they, how loyal they are to you by doing certain things or making certain decisions that they agree with. Or you have a fear bar, which they don't agree with you, but they still fear you because you're so ruthless. As you progress in either bar, you actually get different types of bonuses. This one is a combo ability. It's called Blood Soaks Stone. It's when Chatelain and Verse, who is the Scarlet Chorus member here that I've just saved, we coordinate with Verse to knock your target prone and then follow up with a strong bleeding attack. So we're going to use that ability just to show it off.
Are we
So
ready for this?
You can see here that at the top we both have this ability clicked into the little bar, a little bubble above our heads, and then the bar has then gone all the way around, indicating that everybody's both on coordinated cooldowns. She hits him, oh, and have a nice day. Wow, I love that. I love the idea of combo attacks. I think it's cool.
I can tell you didn't spend the conquest in a diplomat's tent. I'm Verse, by the way. But there are more important things to take care of than introductions. Those Vendrian guard we killed didn't come alone.
All right, so we know that there's a even bigger rebellion happening just south of our location. Yeah, we'll learn a little bit about Verse later on. For right now,
Bigger. I like that. Before we go, you might search among the remains of our fallen comrades. Wherever they're bound, I doubt they'll miss their boots, much less any rings or any useful iron they might be clutching.
just to let you know, when she's talking about rings, she's not being literal. What the currency in Tyranny, the video game, is called rings instead of the typical coinage that you would see. They kind of went away from the gold, silver, bronze, or gold, silver, copper idea and went iron, bronze, and copper, I do believe is the way that it works, and they do it in rings. The reason being is that at this point in the age, industrial age that they are in terms of their technology, iron is king.
No reason to pity the fallen. Before long, we might wish we'd joined them here. But at least we'll enjoy heavy pockets and warm toes. For the voices of Nerat!
Boy, she has got some spice in her, doesn't she? Alright, let's loot some bodies. What do we got here? Ooh, Lesser Sigil of Reaching Grasp. This is going to be the first step that we're going to take when creating our own magic. But that's a bit of a momentum breaker. Right now we've got a rebellion to quench. Oh, look what we got here. Eyes forward, no looking back. The Venelin Guard warrior roars with a flex held high. Phalanx? Yeah. Queenslayer. So there you go. Again, everybody identifies me as the Queenslayer. I've long dreamt of laying claim to your skull. So nice of you to present it. You already just arrived at camp and they've already given you a title? Impressive. I'm digging this verse. He's cool. Oh, there's more reinforcements, and look like from the Scarlet Chorus. Run down the oath breakers, let none escape. Basically, it looks like some type of blood chanter scribes, some type of magic users for the Scarlet Chorus, one of the two armies of the Kairos. It's just come in to offer some nice reinforcements. Hold your positions, all of you. You there, keep to the path. No, don't engage them. We need to run. But the orders fall on deaf ears, and the warriors reluctantly ready their weapons. They're trying to get a message out somewhere, and we've stopped them. Okay. Let's get going on issuing out some damage. So I'm going to want to push him back, which I'm pretty sure this does as my shock ability, because I don't want him attacking me. I'm squishy. There we go. Push it back, and then Verse gets right into the fray of it. And I think what we're going to do is, why not use our special attack right off the bat again? Ooh, boom! Super punch. He's hurt badly. Now, so am I, actually. I've taken some damage here. Now, one of the things I've paused it here for, and this is a good opportunity to kind of show it off, is you can see here I've got, it says Magic Staff +1. So when I use my Magic Staff, I get +1. And then if I go to, quickly, I know we're in battle, so I'll just quickly show you. Oh, now it comes our weapon skills. And I see here I've got my Control Frost or Lightning. And my Magic Staff's at 37 in this bar. Once it fills up to 50, and I've got 42, I will actually get a level up. Little side segue there. In the meantime, let's get rid of these guys. Oh, what's going on here? I'm gonna shock these guys into existence here. Oh, no, he's still not dead. That's it's not good, because I'm getting hurt pretty bad here. I'm squishy, remember. Come on. Let's get...
happening.
Okay, we're wounded. Okay, this is a good opportunity to show you what it means to be wounded. You can see here that my health bar's gone down to 22. I probably should be using something to get that topped up. I'll use a potion. But what happens is, when I'm wounded, I'll click on my character here. I can click on it, then right-click it, locking it, showing my status. Oh, something happened there. What is going on? My apologies. So you can see here that I've got, it's not going to show it, I'm wounded, so I get less skills and less HP until I rest. It's kind of like a carrying status effect. And that only happens when I get down to a certain point. So I'm going to use my Wounded Warrior, what's it called? Yeah, Warrior's Respite to get my health back up. And in the meantime, I'm going to try to take out this leader with my my ability, what's it called? Skewer. Love it. Okay, I got 14 HP back, so it's a little bit better, but I'm going to enjoy it. There we go, a nice potion, topped me right back up, but even though my HP has gone up to 81, I'm still wounded. It's a status effect that's going to last for a while. In the meantime, I'm going to take myself out of the fray. Oh wow, she fell pretty easy, didn't she? And the Oathbringers are gone. Come quick, we have a situation at the cliffside. They have the commander. Uh-oh. Someone's gonna pay for this, I'll tell you that. It ain't gonna be me, I just showed up. Okay, so let's loot some bodies real quick. What do we got here? Staggering burn. Cool, I'll take it.
Right.
Come on, Verse, let's go on. No time for lollygagging. So it looks like you've had the Scarlet Chorus's camp set up here, and the Oathbringers have made some type of counterattack. Stow your weapons or find out how long a man screams before hitting the ravine down below. Cornered between a precipitous drop and a band of angry soldiers, a Oathbreaker warrior holds the disfavored officer at knife point. Skewer him! Worry not for me. Grave and ash will protect us. Uh-oh. You heard the man. He plainly invited you to use a little blade of yours. What are you waiting for? Permission from your pimp? Just to let you know, there's some suggestive language in this game. Warning. Okay, so now we've got a couple options here. Looks like he's got our commander by knife point. Doesn't look like he's terribly important. I am playing a war-hardened battle mage. So we could have release the prisoner, and you might know the inside of a cell. Conquest. Why kill that is favored? Nobody could take. Why kill that disfavored? Nobody. When you can take a swing at the Queenslayer. Ooh, because of my conquest, I can bait him into trying to attacking me. Let's see if he'll take it. Why not? You have gained favor with the Scarlet Chorus and gained favor with the disfavored. So this is the way that the reputation works. They both agree with that, and they like the way that I approach that situation. You, the Queenslayer? Oh, looks like the guard got him after all. Cairo be praised. The Oathbringer fought with the rage of Karn himself. Thank you, Fatebinder. I thought today was my last. Well, Dracius. Dracius, Gracius. From the look of it, guess they thought that if they swarmed the pass, maybe one of them would make it out. We found a few scraps of parchment on their bodies. Dracius holds a handful of crumpled parchment for your inspection. A student of letters such as yourself should be making sense of this. So interesting side note on this. everybody can't read. Literacy is actually very low in Kairos' kingdom, so being a Fatebinder, you're able to read, and not a lot of soldiers or even some of the commanders can do so. So paper and what's written on it, especially when it comes to arcane magics or anything like that, very valuable. Okay, what our options are, I have no time for this. I should be on my way to see the Archons. I'll just examine the parchment. Repeating the same message in different written scripts, the parchment explains of Vendran's Guard's desire to overthrow the Kairos' Archons and root their armies from the tiers. The pages aren't addressed to anybody specific, but rather open invites to all who remain loyal to the Younger Realms to gather at Vendran's Well. What should I say? Recruitment material? Nothing more. They were trying to bring more traitors into the fight. Or useless scrawlings. I don't want to tell these guys anything. Screw it. Well, from the look of it, they kept from slipping out of the valley. Whatever they hoped to accomplish, I think their plan died here. The Archons are expecting you. When you're ready, leave by the gate to the southeast and follow the trails down the slope for a few hours. You'll see a camp a few leagues away. Can't miss it. Alright, so the beginning of our quest has begun. We must go see the Archons with the wonderful news that I'm going to be bestowing an edict. Oh, what's this here? The Archon demands all prisoners be given a chance to serve for the choir. The prisoner says his name is Darkus Demos. Then I don't think this is a complicated matter. He dies. His family's been driving force in the Vendling Guard. Killing him would demoralize whatever's left of the Darkus clan. Mocking Blaze comes back and says, but we offer the enemy redemption. Well, save for their inbred nobles. Just ask the Queenslayer. But corpses can't serve the chorus. So while mercy always pains me, it is the way Voices of Narat commands. Old scouts and the one assigned after us, the Fate Bringer, made good on Khan's error to do very well, serving the chorus. Besides, Kairos does not wish to rule over an empty wasteland. We must adopt these tiersmen, else we have no one to serve us in the coming years. That's actually quite right. You kill everybody, you still got to pour your own glass of water. Well, you take the prisoner, but you can't control them. You send these conscripts out on patrol and they never return, defecting all over again. I can't let this nonsense strategy continue. Let's hear what the Fatebinder has to say. My mates in the Blood Channel Guild tell me you are the most supportive of the claims of the scroll of the Veldium Citadel, so that was my conquest decision that he's bringing up. Surely you understand that the Scarlet Chorus is wise enough not to squander an advantage that you can take from an enemy. Okay, so now this is one of the very many times where you can see that the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, the two armies of Kairos, don't exactly like each other in all different situations, and you're going to be faced with a lot of them throughout the game. I get a choice to either execute this oath, person, what the Disfavored would want us to do, or allow him to become integrated into the chorus or die. Either you have those choice. Seems like he's a very valuable person, so I don't want him to come back, so I'm going to execute the Oathbinder. And you can see I've gained wrath with the Scarlet Chorus and favor by the Disfavored by doing so, so this will affect the way that the two factions see me from here on in by making all of these small decisions. The Tiersmen can't be trusted. Ranks, thieves, and whores. Nothing more. We were far too merciful the first time. Have this one tied up. He and his friends can watch each other rot in the sun. I won't keep you here any longer, Fatebinder. I know that you have an important business in the valley. Glory for the glory of Kairos. Alright, well, that's going to be a long day for him.
On it.
Okay, so we got our little camp. Dead bodies everywhere. I dig it. And we're going to head down to the cell. Ooh, there we are. He's already strung up. End this. Oh, wow, he's in pain. You there. I beg you, end this. My options are, but you better make, but you make a better warning for others while you're still twitching. Or finish him, you suffered enough. Request is granted. Nah, you make a better warning. alive, and he's whisks in pain. Well, that's not a good Tuesday afternoon for this guy. Okay, so we are now at the Eggring Ruins. Eggring Ruins? It's a ruin, and we're headed to this favorite camp that will take us 3 hours of travel time. Off we go. Okay, so again, now we're going to be at the disfavored camp. Take what you can, but leave the cart, otherwise we'll seize you and your wares. What's going on here? Hail, Fatebinder. Camp's on ahead, don't mind us, just clearing out some rabble. I don't understand what I've done to offend. Oh, it looks like there's some type of different trade dispute. I respect that these are now disfavored lands, and I'm happy to give the Legion a proper toll, but she's going on about trading rights. What nonsense is that? I'm not allowed to trade one thing for another? It's not like I'm selling weapons or to angry peasants or anything of that sort. You're on disfavored land. These warriors have a right to kill you. You should be more thankful. And they're even listening to you speak. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I'm only here to peddle my wares. I mean no harm. I don't believe him for a second. And if you think I'm a threat to this favored camp, then you have seriously overestimated. Please, how can I make this right? From the sounds of it, I feel like I'm about to be robbed. You're not the only one. I'm being robbed of patience as we speak. We should move on, Fatebringer. Petty disputes are beneath us both. Quite right, Verse, quite right. Pfft. Robbed? No, you fool. You're being granted a life after trespassing in our lands. It's all for the simple price of what's in your cart. Not your fault that you don't have the proper permits in order. I don't write the rules. I just ruthlessly enforce them. Gotta love old school Gestapos. Can't you do something for me? What should I do? Should I look at his trade permits? You best start making a strong argument. Or I just leave. You know, none of my business. Carry on. This is totally beneath me. I'm the Queenslayer and the Fatebringer, so slow down a moment. I know we're both eager to catch the Archons bickering over tactics like a pair of magpies. But I need to ask you something first. What is it? What is it, Verse? The voices in Nerat told me that you've become as a mediator. Considering the source, well, I can't help but feel that I'm only hearing half the story. So, let's have it. What's so special about you? Should I be doing? Should I trust Verse? I just met her, although she is proving to be a formidable warrior. I'm going to lie to her because I don't want her to know why I'm here, which is actually to deliver an edict from Kairos. Well, is that all? I can understand why Tunon would worry himself over resources, but we have riches of the Northern Empire backing this conquest, not to mention the plunder of the Tears. If you say that's the case, I'll go along with it. Alright, enough of this. I'm to meet with the Archons. Hey, don't let me hold you back. I'm sure whatever you're here to do is important enough, so I don't need to be stepping in your path. The war tent is just past the center of camp. Good. Oh, and one last thing. Be careful around those disfavored types. They take their work very seriously, and most of them suffered too many blows to the head. Oh, great. Who do we have here? Step forward and present yourself. State your business. I'm Chatelain, Fatebringer of Tunon. I bring word from Kairos. Word for only your commander's ears. Oh, so you're the fire starter. Oh, so that's another one of the things I lit fire to all of the text. I think myself brave, but I'm happy to have been far away from all of that. It must have been a terrifying honor to be the messenger of such a righteous force. So he's talking about the last edict that I delivered that burnt to a crisp that entire, or all the different rocks and volcanoes to that stone city. Go on in. You'll find them at the war tent center of camp. Excellent.
Right.
War camps. So, just going to take a brief moment here to talk about, the graphics and everything like that. I noticed that the zoom-in camera is just a little bit, it's a little bit more zoomed in than it was for Pillars of Eternity, but you can see it's a very much an old school isometric type game. All of the different backgrounds look like they've been, kind of almost hand drawn or something very close to that effect. And then kind of on a painted matte background. It's very reminiscent to old school RPGs, circa Baldur's Gate, stuff like that. It's very deliberate. The art style and the aesthetics are designed around the mechanics of the game. I always get a big kick because I grew up playing a lot of these games for way too many hours, and I even found myself, I think I actually beat Baldur's Gate 2 not too long ago, probably, I want to see within the last couple of years. Oh, looks like we've got something. Okay, we're going to zoom in here, and you're going to notice that this crate is glowing purple. It means it's a secret item. Ooh, what do we got here? I'll take it all. We'll worry about later. But anyway, that's the way that's what shows off secret items being exposed, and it all depends on what ability. I'm just curious more than anything else because I don't get a chance to do that very often. Spell creation, we'll get into that after. No, well, we'll figure it out later. Anyway, yeah, sometimes it'll pop up depending on one of your specific abilities is that high. It actually might be subterfuge, which kind of took over for hiding in shadows and being able to lie, being generally deceitful, and whatnot. So that being said, we're going to meet the Archons for the very first time. It looks like they're in quite the quarry between the two of them right now. What we have here is the leader of the Disfavored and the leader of the Scarlet Chorus.
That's 4 reports of avalanches in the mountains now. The Tearsmen can barely count past 9. They have neither the capacity nor the cause to close off the mountain passes. Either way, that leaves the 2nd and 4th cohort trapped outside the valley.
Or it's the work of your perfidious Earthshakers. Only a fool would not suspect a traitorous Archon of poisoning the mind of his students with sedition. We would have killed the Earthshakers Guild for their master's treachery, but I'm sure you have some perfectly valid reason for allowing them to live as your pawns.
The Archon of Secrets passes a scepter between his hands as he speaks, twirling the rod in hypnotic circles. As I click on this, you can see here a lore window pops up every time the text is green. And then you can hear voices in your head. Well, hello there, Fatebinder. We'll be with you in just a moment. So the voices of Nerat is actually speaking to you telepathically while he's going back and forth.
Hey, watch yourself. When these two get going, you don't want to get between them.
I'm going to remain silent right now and see what these two have to say.
I know you've run out of things to say when you resort to mocking my vassals. If we are to speak of treachery, why is it that my scouts see the Scarlet Chorus warriors defecting back to the Vendrian Guard? Your fearsome reputation has gone flaccid, for it seems you cannot control your soldiers, or perhaps you simply choose not to.
Ooh, some big words from Grav and Ash, the leader of the Disfavored. My lords, the Fatebringer has arrived. Perhaps we should table this discussion and let our guest speak.
Speaking of strategic failures, who was it that insisted the valley would need only a token garrison? For some strange reason, we can't seem to recall which balding half-wit grossly underestimated the enemy. Thoughts?
The Archon of Secrets twirls his scepter in a twisting loop. If I click on it, he says, "Can you hear us, Fatebinder? Cough if we have your attention." I'm gonna cough audibly. I'm gonna let the voices of Nerat know.
I thought you had left agents within these Tearsmen when they surrendered. Either you failed to see this coming, or you knew and let it happen. Incompetent or in cahoots, either way, this mess has your filthy stink all over it.
Just want to say right here between the this awesome conversation back and forth between the two Archons is that the voice acting in this game is well done. For being able to kind of express that without doing any type of motion. We're just looking at something isometrically and listening to it. They do a really good job.
We look forward to seeing you explain to Tunon why the Archon of War could not close the vice on this trivial little insurgency. When we are crowned the ruler of the Tears, we shall have this place renamed to Ash's Folly in your honor.
He tosses the scepter into the air. You hear a voice. Good, good. Now pay attention. You might miss something. I'm going to remain silent.
Trust the information I get from you and your conscripted mouth breathers. Perhaps I'd order my cohorts around a bit more aggressively. But last time I trusted your all-clear report, my troops failed to come home.
Oh, Ash, old boy. If you're going to have a little sob every time one of your nieces or nephews dies to the Tearsmen, perhaps we should have Siren sing you some calming lullabies to help you cope with your grief.
Siren is the Archon of Song and the youngest Archon sent to conquer the Tears. So they often reference each other, and what you can do is, as you start to become more familiar with the lore and the background and major players of this world, what's really awesome is the game provides you with this green script, and this green script you can click on it really quickly and go, gotcha. And then, meanwhile, the Archon, the voice of Narat, says, take care that you don't learn too much, Fatebinder. An excess of knowledge, of curiosity even, can earn you unwanted attention. It's kind of telling me to put my foot to the gas and get going on why I'm here. Hold your tongue. I will not have you degrade the honor of our fallen brethren. They bicker like children, do they not? Queenslayer. He's addressing me. No doubt your presence here will strike despair into the hearts of the enemy. Lord Ash, Lord Narat, our guest has arrived. My options are bow to the Archons. Apologies for the sudden entrance. I've traveled long. That's what I'll say.
The fire starter has arrived. Welcome, welcome. Our agents tell us such lovely stories of what you did at the Vellum Citadel. Have you come bearing another fragment of Kairos' wrath in tow?
Of course, he knows he's calling me the fire starter because I started the massive fire in the city, but the Dishonored called me the Queenslayer. So it's kind of interesting that I've gained their favor on by how I decided my conquest was going to go on both sides of this faction.
My soldiers tell me you helped Commander Drotus on your way through Eddring. You honor the court with your selfless cooperation, for that is the sort of camaraderie that Kairos demands of us all.
I require no thanks for doing my sworn duty. No, I'm going to get right to the brass tacks. I come bearing an edict. The most powerful magic that Kairos can command.
It seemed only yesterday you were proving your worth in battle, assisting my warriors in the siege of the bastard city. Now Kairos has chosen you for a second time to proclaim an edict. Tell us, good Fatebinder, what sort of punishment does the Overlord have in store for the Oathbreakers?
Oh, he wants to know, but I think what he's going to find out is it's going to get a little bit more interesting than that. Okay, my options are the Overlord loyal servants must hold at Ascension Hall by Kairos' Day of the Swords, or all in the valley will perish. That includes us. So he's willing to destroy everybody in the valley, including 2 of his Archons and his 2 armies, to see that this gets done in time and in good fashion. Or I can say, it seems that you need some encouragement to work together. Kairos' edict will end the lives of everybody in the valley unless Ascension Hall is claimed by Kairos by the Day of Swords. Or I can say, in honor of your incompetence and disarray, the edict will execute every living thing in the valley unless Ascension Hall is taken by Kairos. I'm going to say the number 1. I'm going to try to be diplomatic because these guys seem awfully powerful. The earth sways as each word is uttered. The air thickens with warmth as you pronounce and tersely phase commandment, and every syllable drafted by the hand of Kairos. With the edict proclaimed, your pulse quickens and your muscles in your legs, worn from the long trip down the mountain, feel renewed. The tired limbs now barely buoyant with vigor. Woo.
The Overlord means to compel us into action. No doubt the avalanches in the mountains are part of this ultimatum. We must conquer the Oathbreakers or die in failure. There is no room for error, and no other way out of this valley alive. We'll need to advance across the Mittani. We lose everything if we stand still, and we move to back up Plan Green. The Earthshakers didn't make it over the mountain in time, so we do this the hard way. Over the walls instead of through.
So you found your backbone at last! Oh, we were worried past humiliations would make you soft, timid. That was a record for you, right? The baker's dozen lost in one sortie. If you had waited for the chorus reinforcements, maybe we'd have eyes and ears on the matter.
The Archon of Secrets passes his scepter from one hand to the next, and we hear voices in our head saying, "Watch him squirm. So many tears over replaceable, expendable, useless soldiers. I miss the old Archon of War. You'd never see a blood echo in a blubbering mess over a few dead killers. He'd use his knuckle bones of the best disciples for jewelry. He even made a breastplate out of his dead brother's ribcage, because that's how real man deals with grief." Okay, I really like him. The voices in Rat's already proven to be a very interesting character to me. Now our options are: bicker all you wish, you're just wasting valuable time. Are you too daft? This is your indecision and bickering that necessitated this edict. Or what's one of the more interesting ones? I don't know if I really want to tick off the voice of Narat. I kind of want to remain neutral to these two Archons. They look like they got some serious, magic behind them. Bicker all you wish. We're just wasting valuable time.
Right. We're acting not as leaders, but as children. I've no time for your foolish japes and petty taunts. We should focus on the objective at hand, and that is taking the Mittani River, and then advancing to Ascension Hall and ending this edict.
Alright, I'm going to say then enough talking. There's work to be done. My lord, Barrick and his band have been drilled on the Echo Call assault plan. The Crescent Runners should be briefing him as we speak regarding the latest enemy movements along the river. I will dispatch him at once. And I will ensure that the chorus stands ready to march. If the disfavored can take the river, the chorus has the manpower to secure the outer ring of the valley.
Our soldiers clamor for battle, and at last we shall have it. Verse, we command you to continue guarding the Fatebinder. Tunon's chosen is our honored guest, and must be shown our finest hospitality.
And they said there was no romance in this game.
I won't let you down, boss. He'll get through the campaign in one piece, as long as he doesn't do anything too stupid.
Archon twists the scepter into his hand. Suit yourself, Fatebinder. The more you ignore us, What kind of message was that? I wonder.
The fool and his puppet are gone. Perhaps now I can hear myself think. Rarely do I question Kairos' judgment, but I will never understand why the voices of Narat is given such authority. I shudder to think what will become of us all should Tunon favor him in the end. Though the edict threatens the Scarlet Chorus just as it threatens us, I cannot shake the feeling that our allies will work against us.
Whoa. Splits between the divisions between the two armies of Kairos.
Queenslayer, I would ask that you join us in battle, if only for the satisfaction of your presence enraging the enemy. You've shown your worth in war, and your name has been known to the Legion since the very beginning of this long conquest. So I'd ask that you join us this one last time, to help us wrap up this last objective. If you wish to be counted amongst the glorious, speak with the Iron Marshal. She will direct the order of battle until we are ready for the final push into the Citadel.
I'm short on a few scouts, short on a few soldiers, short on a few everything. I'm sure my brethren will be grateful for the assistance of a skilled outsider. Yeah, well, let's help him out. I'll be in the training grounds readying the soldiers. Find me there when you're ready. And although I am loath to mention it, the chorus can likely use your assistance. They certainly won't secure the Order Valley just on their own. Fifth Five will be somewhere in the rat's nest they call a camp, due east. Seek him out, if you must. So it looks like we're going to have a few quests here to kind of show us a little bit about what's going to happen in, between these two armies of Kairos. The disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus. Now you'll notice here I've got a new bar up in the upper right hand. It says 8 days to Kairos Day of Swords. So I have 8 days to complete this. And just if you're wondering there, this isn't a timer that it's not a hard timer. I don't want to spoil anything. Of course, I've played through this part of the game before. I'm just kind of letting everybody know, because I know that when this showed up on the dev stream that got released earlier this week, everybody was thinking that there was going to be a hard cap on the game in terms of that limits your ability to kind of free range and go around and have fun and explore, right? Well, I can tell you that's not the case. This is kind of one of these, again, soft caps. Maybe get your butt moving in the right direction. Because the beginning of this game very much feels almost like they could have released this as an awesome demo, which I thought would be great. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to show you a little bit about making your own spells before we go any further. We know that we've got to do a couple tasks for both Archons as they prepare to take the Citadel, or what were we going to take here? Just primary goal. We're going to take over the Veterans Well Citadel, and that's the main goal. And if we don't be able to do that in the 8 days, well, then everything as we understand it when it comes to life, death, and rebirth is completely gone. So before we get involved in that, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make some spells. Okay, now this is a spell creation sigil, sorry. So what's going to happen is I'm going to open my inventory. You can see here that I got a lesser sigil of strength. This scroll contains a magical accent which slightly increases the strength of a spell. If you'll say I'll learn it, my tutorial goes down, I've learned sigil of strength. This one is the sigil of reaching grasp, which it contains the ability to increase the range of a spell. Perfect. So you would just click that on. It's very much like you would do a magic tome or something to that effect. And instead of learning a specific spell, like let's say grasping shock or something resolve, whatever the case may be, you can pick whatever you want. You actually create them in this game. So what you do, the spell creation sigils are placed over here, and each one of everybody here has a spot. And now remember, because the way that it works in this game is it's based off of how much you use a specific skill that it actually increases. Almost everybody can use magic, but it's all dependent on your lore skill. Okay, so creating magic. If I open up this little sidebar here, you can see, because I'm a frost mage and a lightning mage, I've got these two sigils already available to me, but there are much more that you can find later on. So just for fun and games of fun, we've already got one frost spell called Frozen Grasp, right? So I'm going to kick that down, and this is going to be our main core. Now our expression can be the basically it tells you if you are going to be using this against an area of effect, a specific person, or cone, whatever the case may be. In this one, this is a creation of a spell that affects a single target near the caster, so it's not a very long range. So this is called Frozen Grasp. You'll notice here that I've got Frozen Grasp, so you can see that they're virtually identical, but because I can add accents to it. So it says here the lore required to use this shocking grasp, which does 10 to 14 frost-based damage and gives a frozen affliction for 12 seconds. So he's more prone to being hit by other frozen objects and be able to hurt them. And it's a recovery of 1.5 seconds. That's not my cooldown. It's just that it increases the recovery for the frozen affliction. Sorry, it means that I have frost damage resistance, and it increases my my recovery rate. So you'll notice here that the two spells are virtually identical because I've created the spell by using a core and expression. But what I can do is I can accent it and say, okay, I want to increase it by using a little bit of strength because I just had this tome for it, right? So if you notice here, I click on this, and now it does, instead of doing 10 to 14, it does 12 to 17. But in doing so, wow, increases my lore by 20. So that's how you build these spells. You're kind of constantly adding different things to your spells, different accents or expressions, but the more that you add it, the more that you make it more powerful, or go longer, or stay longer, or whatever the case may be, or buff people even more. The stronger you make it, the more lore you need, and the more lore that you have, the more of these powerful spells you can get. So I'm gonna sit there and get that going. I do believe you just sit there and take it up, and then I hit update, and guess what? Now I've got Frozen Grasp that has been accented by increased damage and increased range. So we'll do the exact same thing for my Sigil of Lightning. We'll take the Sigil of Lightning. I've only got the one accent. We'll make it more powerful and longer range. And we'll upgrade it. So that now we have 2 upgraded spells already. Now, of course, poor Verse here, she's not able to use any of this because unfortunately it's just her lore was way too low. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to core. We're just going to give her a basic we're going to give her a basic frost spell. It says we need 15, and we're just going to let her have that. So we're going to assign that here, and just because unfortunately her lore skill is so low, can't really use much else. Lore 15, assign. Perfect. Okay, so that's basically when it comes down on the most very basic and rudimentary level of how you actually create spells in this game. Now you can see here from the different accents that I have, we've got area of effects, we've got spell duration, spell or select chain sigils, so that mean that I could have a spell bounce off of one character, hit another one. We got sigils of enhancements that actually can combine, so I could have a frost and fire at the same time, interrupting, armor penetration, recovery, sigil, like all these different options. You can see how many different combinations of things you can move together later on in the game as you progress. So I really like this system. It's actually very interesting to me because I can tell you from the game that I played off screen, I played around and experimented with several different accents to make sure that I got my character exactly where I wanted to. And it also found that sometimes Verse had used up all of her abilities, and I liked the idea of having Frost because then it slowed down the character's attack on me before I could actually use in a counterattack. So it's really interesting to kind of set up these different combinations, not to mention the double combinations that might come in later once you get some of the more powerful magic. Okay, everybody, so we've kind of progressed and we've met the 2 Archons. We know the 2 sides have got some friction between us. Next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to find out how we can help both the disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus in getting across the river and a final push onto the Citadel, quelching and destroying the rebellion from the Oathbreakers once and for all. So this has been Army P for Explorminate.net, and thanks a lot guys for watching. See you next time.